Hey guys, Chris Vandeninde coming at you today, and I want to give you the tip of the week. I was driving down to a conference, actually, well, I guess it was a sales boot camp that I went to the other day, and I'll have to save that and what I learned there for another day. That sales boot camp was awesome. Learned some cool things there. A lot of it was a refresher on some things, but it's always good to get that confirmation, be fresh, make sure that I am still utilizing the tips that I've learned from years ago, and don't forget those. So you want to keep educating yourself constantly. But anyway, don't want to talk about that today, even though you would think I would, because the coolest thing happened to me. I got to witness the coolest thing on the way to the sales boot camp. On the way, as I was driving, there was an accident. Now, of course, that's not the coolest thing. Accidents are terrible, and if you've ever been in one, you know that it's devastating, it's tragic, especially if someone's injured or worse. You never want to be in that situation there. But I saw an accident up ahead there, and it was on the highway. As I was driving, creeping closer, of course, it was stuck with everyone else. There was a fire truck blocking most of the accident in the entire lane, so you couldn't see anything until you got right up on it. But before we even got to it, there was a car on the shoulder that just kind of blazed right by, not speeding or anything, but just went right by. Of course, we're crawling, and it went by on the shoulder. I was like, wow, what is that guy doing? Is he trying to get around everyone? And he goes right up to the fire truck and stops right there. So he wasn't trying to get by everybody. That was my first thought. But once he pulls up right behind the fire truck, he jumps out immediately, and it's a guy in army fatigues. So I knew right away that he was a military guy. He put on his cap, and then he proceeded to walk to the accident site. So I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. He jumped out, and he immediately, as soon as he stopped, he jumped out and went to help. Now, the coolest part about this was when I drove up, and as I got to it, I saw that there were 3 cop cars and the fire truck already there. It wasn't an ambulance on scene, but there was already a lot of help there. And if you guys have seen or studied any psychology, you know that there's this really lapse in our brains that happens if we tend to think someone else will take care of those people, right? And especially when you see the police or medics on scene, then you of course assume, well, they're taking care of it, I don't want to interfere. And so usually nobody at that point stops to help. Well, this military person decided to stop without even hesitating to go help. And even though most of us civilians, or most people in general, would probably assume they've already got the situation under control, they're already handling it. As I drove by and saw him, I saw him at the front passenger, or the front person in I guess the person that got hit, I believe it was. There was a woman still in the driver's seat. The cops were attending the other person, and the fire people, apparently she was worse off. And so he immediately knelt down, was on his knees, and was talking and consoling that woman in the driver's seat. And I was just so blown away by this person's willingness to pull over without any hesitation. And especially because I've read a book once that talked about how there's a psychology thing that happens again if you get in an accident. Sometimes it's hard to even get anyone to pull over. Sometimes you have to actually call the cops before you will get anybody to come over, and you're really still waiting for the cops to come, or the ambulance or a fire truck to come, paramedic of some kind. Nobody will pull over unless you point to someone and actually say, hey, you come help me. As soon as one person comes to help, then it's not until that point that other people will come to help. And again, the psychologists have been able to study this and find out that it's a group thinking there, that people will look around them. They'll look at their surrounding. And I'm talking about the passerbyers. They'll look at everyone else and say, oh, nobody else is stopping, so I'm not going to stop. And they keep driving by. So here's my tip that I want to leave for you, and why I'm telling you this story, and why for me it had such an impact on my day, and I thought it was the coolest thing I witnessed that entire day. What I want to leave for you is that we need to be like that military man who was willing to pull over without hesitation to stop, not allowing the pressures around him to influence him in thinking, they've already got enough help, they don't need my help. You need to be that person that is willing to make the effort to just, without hesitation, make a difference. Go out there and see what you can do. See what impact you can have. Don't look at your surroundings. Because if you look at the surroundings, guess what you're going to see? You're going to see a lot of people out there that aren't making it, that aren't successful, that aren't doing it, that aren't living their dreams. And if you are wanting to live your dream and you are really wanting to make a difference, make an impact, then you have to stop looking at your surroundings. You have to, without hesitation, you have to decide what action you're going to take and take that action without looking around you. So that's my tip for today. I want to leave that with you because, again, this was such a great thing that I was able to witness, and I'm glad I was able to share it with you. I hope that this impacts you as well. Even though you didn't get to see it, I hope that it has an influence on you so that it will make a difference, so that you can make a difference. This is Chris Van Denynde signing out with your tip of the week. I hope you have a great one. We'll talk to you later.